All right, welcome. I'm Dr. Stacey, and thank you for joining me on my podcast, Diets Don't Work. Here today, I'm participating with my dear friend, Colin Yearwood, and we are going to explore strategies in regards to shifting what you're doing and enabling you to understand how important different aspects of life are in regards to exploring better health. This is so vital for health and wellness because this is one of the key ingredients to the success that you desire in your health and wellness journey.
Sharing and understanding how the body functions on the inside, that's my vision, and my mission is to eliminate the diabetic epidemic globally. So getting your health on track is vital to you creating a life that you love. So join us in the 5 pounds in 5 days challenge. The link is right there. You'll see it. It's either above or below. And you will then have the opportunity to step into creating a healthier, more natural lifestyle as you begin to heal your health naturally. I'm Dr. Stacey, and I'll see you on the inside.
So, a little bit about Colin. He is a believer in making your possibilities into your reality. And this is so important because over the last 12 years, Colin has transformed every aspect of his life by taking charge of his beliefs and changing them and taking actions in order to create the life that he truly wanted. And isn't that what we all want? We want the life that we want, but taking the steps to get there has sometimes been the stumbling blocks that prevent you from achieving what you desire. So Colin is a professional coach and course creator, and he helps ambitious people turn their possibilities into reality. So Colin, thank you so much for joining us here today, and let's get started. So Colin, share a little bit about where you started in your health and wellness journey, just so we get a before picture, and then we can step into some of the transformation. I'd love to hear that.
Awesome, Dr. Stacey, thank you for having me on and giving me the opportunity to share my journey, and with the hope and intention actually that it helps someone out there. For me, it started back in 2011. I was just about to turn 40 years old, and a doctor told me I need, based off of my physical, I would need to be on blood pressure and cholesterol medicine. So I decided maybe for a few months. So innocently or naively, I asked, hey, how long? And he said, for the rest of your life. And in my opinion, I took it at him being flippant. Like, for the rest of my life, I'm only 40. That's what I'm thinking. And I said, hey, how can I avoid it? And again, in my opinion of the situation, it looks like, I thought he was being sarcastic when he said, lose 60 pounds in 6 months. I'm like, okay, I'll do that. And he was a little hesitant, but he let me go without a prescription. And that's when I started, that day is when I started on my health and fitness journey back in 2011. It was around February 2011. And I decided that I wanted to create that change in my life. And in the parking lot of that doctor's office is when I find the real reason that I wanted to do it. Yes, I wanted to look good. I wanted to feel good. I wanted to be healthy, but I wanted to do it so I can be around for my kids. My kids were pretty young at that time, and I wanted to be around for them. And that became the thing that I attached to pursuing the results that I wanted to have in my health and fitness journey.
A why is so important, isn't it?
Yep.
And that's one
Absolutely.
of the first things that I talk with when I do coaching with my clients and in my groups is, what is your why? If it's just to fit into your skinny jeans, that's not a big enough why. Digging deeper and really exploring into yourself why it's important to you. For me, it's my why is to be able to play with my kids and my grandkids. And I just had my first grandbaby. My daughter delivered on Saturday. Max has arrived. Thank you. And, and I'm thinking, okay, 20 years from now, Max will be 20. I'll be 74. And I fully expect that I will still be hiking, kicking the soccer ball around, shooting hoops on the driveway in the basket, and participating in those things, because that's the vision that I hold for me in regards to what I want my ideal, perfect, beautiful life to be. And so without having that image and that why, it's just a frivolous thing if it's just to fit into the skinny jeans, because that doesn't drive you enough. So share.
Well, let me just share one thing with you quickly, that how my why was re-energized today, like an hour, maybe 2 hours ago. I have 2 sets of kids. One is 28 and 22. The second set is 9 and 7. So I'm in the car. The second set are both girls. So I'm in the car with them driving back. Did an hour drive this morning, and driving back from that drive, somehow we start talking about who's invited to birthday parties, who's invited to weddings. And I was invited to my older daughter, the 9-year-old, to her wedding. Good for me. But she said, I don't want you to do what grandpa did. So when we got married, her grandpa on mom's side, he was very ill and he could not attend the wedding. He was actually at the resort we were having the wedding, but he couldn't leave his room. And she said to me, don't do what grandpa did. I'm like, what did he do? She said, he couldn't be at your wedding. And I'm like, oh man, that is crazy. Now she put that request on me, was a request that I want to fulfill on. And that's why, like, it's, if you're talking about really getting deep with your why, that's what happened to me. My why came back to me again about 2 hours ago, coming from Orlando to Tampa.
And that brings tears to my eyes, right? Because so much of life can be missed out on when you're living length of life, but not quality of life. What kind of life do you want to have? What kind of health and wellness do you want to experience in your upcoming years? Because if it's just to be here on this planet, what kind of life is that? Or do you really want to be living fully the quality of life that you desire in all of your upcoming years? There's a huge difference in that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you for sharing that very special message just from 2 hours ago. And it's amazing how it shows up on a continuous basis if you're open to seeing it, if you're open to looking for it.
Yeah.
So share a little bit more from where you started from. You had a weight loss goal that you were working towards so that you could avoid the medications that your doctor wanted to prescribe for you. Share a little bit more about some of that process and some of the key factors that created the success that you achieved.
Yeah. So one of the key factors that helped me even before I started is about the kind of content I was consuming. As I was thinking about where did I really get started, it was a podcast I was listening to on podcasting. And this was back in 2011. Maybe I started in 2010 listening to this podcast. But the host of the podcast, he was sharing his weight loss journey. He was a big guy, and he was just talking about how he walks. And he was just start talking about how he was going about losing weight. And that planted seeds in me when I started my journey. I kept it absolutely simple. I did not overcomplicate it. So what I did, I went home, I told my kids, and I told my partner at the time, because I knew if I told them this, what I wanted to do, I have to live up to my word. I didn't want to be that guy of like, I'm going to do it and I'm not do it, right? I wanted to live up to my word. So I just shared them with the goal. They were dismissive and just kids. My partner was like, well, we'll see how that goes, because everything around us food was a celebration. Food was involved in every part of our lives. So that day I decided, okay, here's what I'll do. I'll walk every day for 30 minutes. That idea came from the podcast. So the people you're listening to have such a influence in your life, deep in your subconscious. You will be surprised. So that idea came from there. I realized, okay, what else do I need to do? I need to give up something. All fast food, right? At the time I was working in middle management in retail, and fast food was a go-to lunch. So I'll give up all fast food, at least for the next month. That was my thing, for 1 month first, and let's see how it goes. The third thing I decided to do was monitor what I was eating. And I started learning about calories and breakdown of protein. And I didn't actually, the truth about it, I didn't know how to read labels. I didn't know how to read a food label. The internet helped with that. So I didn't want to say I was counting my calories. I wanted to become more aware of what I was eating. The full thing I did was make sure I listened to music or listened to a podcast every time I walked, right? So those are the 4 key things I did. I had to give up something, and I gave up the fast food. I had to learn about something new, and that's just monitoring calories and understanding how they work. I'll tell you a story about that quickly. The third thing was walking every day. And the fourth thing was consuming information that would continue to give me ideas. That's what I was thinking. I need some ideas on how people do this stuff. So I would always listen to podcasts about weight loss or personal development, and just sometimes some music I would just listen to. So those are the 4 main things I did. One thing I wanted to share about monitoring your, go ahead.
That is so valuable. First of all, keep it simple. So
Yep.
many people get so overwhelmed by just the thought of having to lose weight because they think, okay, that takes a gym membership, that takes an hour out of my day, 3, 4, 5 times a week, plus the commute time to the gym. That takes, calorie counting, points counting, measuring, weighing, whatever, and they become so overwhelmed in regards to what they think they need to do in order to get healthy. So keeping it simple is so beautiful. Starting with one thing, starting with that 30-minute walk, even if it's 10 minutes, if you're not walking much at all, start with a 10-minute walk each day and progress from there. That is such a key component to help decrease the overwhelm that people experience and feel, which is the first stumbling block from them even getting started on a wellness journey. And the second thing that I really loved that you shared was the accountability. You told your partner and your children what your intention was. So no matter how they showed up to support you in whatever fashion that looked like, you voiced it out loud. You voiced it to somebody else. So now you know in your mind that somebody else might be checking in on you, supporting you, asking you how you're making out, or watching some of the activities that you're doing that coincide with your path to health and wellness. And just that fact of you stating it out loud to someone else, that triggers inside of you the knowledge that you need to really stick to it because there is the opportunity that someone's going to check in. And simply because of that fact and how our brains are wired, that is a huge factor in success to people who want to make change in whatever it is they're doing in their life, whether it be quitting smoking or starting a new project or even just reaching for a new goal, no matter if it's at work, at business, it doesn't matter. But that accountability component is huge in propelling you forward to staying committed to your path. So thank you for sharing that. Okay,
Absolutely.
carry on. I love what you're sharing.
So in all four of those areas, the first thing is walking. I've never been an active person prior to this. So at the beginning, walking 30 minutes was exhausting. And the subdivision I lived in at that time, I tried to find all the routes that weren't hilly. I couldn't find any. So either one, it seemed like I was always going uphill, but that was a very exhausting task just to do it. But I stuck to it. Even when I got home at 11 o'clock at night, I would get my 30-minute walk. And one of the things I started to do is schedule, and I had my schedule since I was doing retail. I had my schedule the Sunday before. So I actually scheduled in, if it at least was mentally, I look at my schedule, okay, I'm going to walk in the morning because I got to go to work later in the evening. So I kind of mentally scheduled that in there, and I tried my best to stick to that and get it in. So I did walk for about a little bit over 90 days every day for minimum 30 minutes. I got better as we went on. Some days as we went on this journey, I was walking for up to an hour, hour and a half, just getting lost in the different neighborhoods I lived. The second thing that I want to point out with monitoring my calories, I wasn't counting my calories, but just becoming aware of how much calories I was eating blew my mind. So I worked in a very hectic environment. And in my office, I had a pack of oatmeal raisin cookies. And before this journey, I was eating about 5 to 10 of those a day with maybe at least a 1 liter of Pepsi. So the first day I decided to go in the office, let me take a look at how much calories are in these cookies. Each cookie had 250 calories, 5 a day with no exercise. No wonder. Then I looked at what my breakfast used to be, a bagel or two with a very healthy amount of cream cheese. Each bagel was about 200 calories. The cream cheese on it was maybe another 100 calories. So that was between my breakfast and my snacking habit, I was about 2,000 calories right there, and my soda. So that just blew my mind, like, oh my God, obviously something is wrong here. So just knowing that forced me to start to cut back. It wasn't anyone telling me, just knowing that that doesn't add up. That doesn't make sense. So that made me cut back and start to become aware of the food that I eat. Now, when it comes to the fast food, I definitely had to plan my meals a little bit more, what I'm going to take to work and what I'm going to eat. So it took some planning around there. So that's where the journey started. And fast forward, actually before that, around the 90-day mark, I was so ambitious, I signed up for a 5K. because no, it was actually a 5K, it was an 8K. And I said, I'll sign up for this, because one day I went on a walk for about 90 minutes and I saw the sign. I said, I'll do it. I participated in it, didn't run it fully. I, run, walk with my friends, but I would have never thought about doing something like that. Fast forward 6 months later, I went back to the doctor's office. I was down 60 pounds. But it wasn't a surprise to them because I used to use their scale as my monthly check-in. I would wear the same thing I wore that day. I'm a little neurotic about that. So I wore the same thing I wore that day. And every month I'll go there, hey, can I check in on your scale? After the first 2 times, like, okay, just walk in, I'll weigh on their scale. And they kind of see it was happening. And that's where the transformation started. First 60 days, 6 months, I lost 60 pounds. Since then, I went on to lose about 100 pounds. Overall, I'm up in my weight. I've regained some of the weight because my habits didn't always stay consistent with my vision. But I have such a strong foundation of knowing where to go back, where my baseline is. It becomes a little bit easier when I get my thinking together to get back there.
Yes, that's beautiful. And 2 things that you pointed out in this segment was you scheduled in your activity. You knew your work schedule, and then you scheduled in your walking time. And that is so crucial. And that's what I teach in regards to what I call hard entries in my calendar. So my hard entries are things that I need to do for me. They're my self-care, my self-love activities, whether it be a yoga session, meditation, my exercise for sure, things that I want to do for me to recharge my batteries and re-energize myself. They are scheduled in to my daily calendar because they can't be erased. I put them in ink. They're non-negotiable. They're commitments that I've made to me, just as you made your walking commitment a commitment to you, and you put it in your schedule. This is so vital because we live by our phones, right? If it's not in here, it doesn't happen. And if you don't set the reminder or the little bell to go off, the day is done. And the list of things that you wanted to do for you isn't accomplished because it wasn't in a set schedule. So that is so crucial, is setting those hard entries, those non-negotiables, and actually committing to doing them. And that is a beautiful tool that you mentioned there to utilize. So I wanted to bring that forward. And then also, when you talked about, your oatmeal cookies, oatmeal raisin cookies, and your breakfast bagels with cream cheese, that is so typical, right? That is an easy grab and go. It's an easy go-to. It's the drive-through on the way to work. And yes, those needless calories, first of all, none of that stuff really supports great health, right? When you look at the ingredients of what you're talking about, it's not really healthy. You could certainly have different options, but the caloric content, so those calories that you were ingesting really were of no nutritional value, but yet it's certainly compounded on the scale. And especially with you not being an active person at that time. So having both of those factors working against you, no wonder you were where you were. But
Right.
making that shift, making that change, becoming aware of what it was you were putting into your body, making conscious choices to change it, and then improving the activity level that you were experiencing. And it is so amazing that when you do start moving your body, sometimes people just starting on their journey, they feel that they don't have any energy. How on earth could they go and walk for 10 minutes or half an hour when they don't even have the energy to do anything at the end of the day because they're exhausted? Well, actually, moving your body generates energy in your body. And just as you experienced, you wanted to do the opportunity of moving through an 8-kilometer race and
Right.
participating in that, right?
Yeah.
So it's amazing how your body then craves the movement.
Yeah. And to piggyback on the physical activity, physical part of this process, when I started, to me, walking 30 minutes was, oh my God, that's gonna kill me. That's what I thought. To where I am now, like 11 years later, over the last 11 years, I've ran at least 20 or 35 Ks and 10 Ks. I've ran 2 half marathons. In 2011, I ran my last half marathon this year. So in 2011, if you told me at that time I would be doing that, I'll say you're crazy. But because I started that journey, and it was about, I don't do any of my running for anyone else. it was just to test myself. How far can I go? And then I realized, oh wow, I burn a lot of calories doing this. Great, let's do it. And that's how I started. It was about me and testing myself to see how far I can go and what I need to do to accomplish those goals. But when you start moving and you become consistent with it, I think in my mind, your body craves more of the activity and your mind becomes stronger to support. Yeah, I can challenge myself a little bit more. For some people, maybe weightlifting or some other thing. For me, I'm not a big weightlifting fan. I do try it. I do every now and then. I get into a season where I lift some weights. But for me, it's more, I like walking, I like running. It's more of the cardio kind of thing for me. But it's allowed me to become a person I never thought I would be. Like my friend said, you're running a half marathon again? Or according to my sister, every time I say half, she thinks I'm running a marathon. So she gives me credit for the whole 26 miles. So good for her.
And that's so amazing. You're right. When you do start moving your body does crave movement, because our bodies are meant to move. We're not meant to be stagnant. That's when joints seize up. That's when body function decreases. That's when blood flow, neurological stimulation, all of that goes down the drain. And our bodies love to move. They thrive in movement. And that's how healing happens. That's how regeneration happens, and so much more. And yes, and congratulations on your half marathons. That is
Thanks.
amazing. And so stepping into how you made your possibilities into reality, I'd love for you to share a little bit about that transition, making your possibilities into your new realities.
So it was possible for me to do all these things, but you having possibilities at times are the best intentions. But if you don't do the supportive work to change from the inside out. So a lot of things I had to do to turn those possibilities of starting to enjoy working out and find a purpose behind that. And in other areas of my life is changing who I am on the inside, right? A lot of my internal conversation at that time, and even now, look, it's to me, the work in progress every day. And I have to work every day to have that internal conversation that supports who I want to be, how I want to feel in my weight loss journey, how I want to feel in my work. So working on my mindset has been the biggest part of creating my new possibilities. Seeing, like I love Tony Robbins' work, and I think one thing he says, seeing things for the way they are, and not for what the worst that they could be. Right, something to that effect. So usually we make things out to be bigger than they are. Where am I right now? So a lot of mindset work, a lot of internal changing how I thought about myself, thought about what's possible, and also aligning myself with people who saw those same possibilities. When I started losing a lot of weight, initially I had an uncle that reached out and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I told him. He said, "Oh, I thought he was just taking one of those pills." He wasn't interested in doing the work. Like most people are not interested in doing the work. But if I hung around those people, I would have never went on the natural journey. But to your question, to turn your possibilities into reality is getting clear on the destination where you want to go, right? What is it you want your life to look like in the next 5 years, 10 years, the next year, the next 6 months, whatever you can see. Some of us are able to see ahead 5 years and see ahead 6 months. What do you want your life to look like? And be very clear on it. What am I willing to give up in order to get there? And what am I willing to, what's the new thing I'm willing to do in order to get there? Because I found that you can't hold on to the old things expecting to create a new result. You have to give up something. With healthy time with health and wellness here, if I didn't give up my eating habits initially, no matter how much I walk, I would not have lost the weight. So I decided, okay, I'll give up on these things. And I started with fast food. And then by learning calories, I became aware. So I started giving up on the quantities. And I've tried, in the last couple of years, I tried some other diets and that it doesn't work for me because I don't see myself doing this for the rest of my life. But my entire 90% of, I would say 11 and a half years of the 12, I've done what I call just a natural diet. I eat the foods I like in small quantities when I like. That's it. I don't do anything special about I don't want to name anything, but I don't do anything special diet. So I had to give up something to get what I want. So I had to give up overindulging on food. overindulging on food, eating when I'm full, right? And now I can speak this language because I know it. Is I heard people say that before, stop when you're full. Like, please, I'll finish this plate. But now I'm able to be aware of stopping when I'm full and putting that aside, right? So I've give up that overindulgence for a new thing. So you have to get clear on where you want to go. Be willing to give up something that you have right now so you can get something new in the future. And what's the new thing you're going to adapt? So that's the main thing about creating new possibilities.
That is beautiful. And yes, that reflects right back to the very beginning of our conversation today. It's what is your great big why? So if you don't know what you want, or you don't know what you want the end goal to look like, or you don't have that picture or vision in your mind as to where you're going, how can you even take one step forward on your new journey when you don't even have a destination planned out? So stepping into that question first off is, for me, the first thing that I share with my clients is, what do you want things to look like? Because you need to have that direction in order to create your roadmap for the journey that you're going to embark upon. To know what your first step forward is, you have to know what direction you're going. And so that's really, really important. That's amazing.
Oh. And I think that's something that's overlooked by a lot of people. The other thing I'll put down to being clear where you want is journaling. That's something that's really helped me a lot. Is just journaling and writing down those things. What is it I want? Why am I doing this? And writing it down instead of just thinking it out or having it circulate in our head. And I think it's nice when you have it in your head, but it becomes a little bit more. My wife has told me, she said, I told her one time, I said, I don't know how to pray. She said, yeah, your journals are full of prayers. I'm like, what do you mean? She said, all those entries you make it's prayers, because I just write down, this is what I want my life to be like. This is how much I want my weight to be like. This is how I want to feel. I just write those things down. And to my surprise, a lot of things I've journaled. I'm a believer now, but over the first few years, I look back in the journal like, whoa, that came through. That came through. So now that's just a habit of reviewing the journal, but just writing down where you want to be in your health and fitness journey, why you want to be there. And it doesn't always have to be like deep, right? Yes, my initial thing, I definitely want to be around and be healthy for my kids, but I want to look good. I'll be honest, I want to look good. When I feel like I am looking good according to how I view looking good, I'm able to show up on a Zoom like this and share. By the way, in January 2011, before I started this journey, you would have never gotten me to come on and talk about anything. I didn't want to be seen. I was hiding myself. I was playing small in every area of my life, every area, including with my kids, my relationships, my work, with myself. So it became my weight loss journey. And I prefer to say health and fitness journey, because that's what it is for me, has transformed everything about me, right? Friends always say now, hey, you're so different. I'm like, no, this guy was there, but because of all those other things he was dealing with, he was hiding this person. So I had to go through that process of releasing that weight and finding the true me by doing the inner work to get to this point. So there's way more benefits to get on the health and fitness journey just when it comes to weight loss and living longer. Is like living a quality life, living a life fully as who you want it to be. So to me, that's the part that's even more exciting, because I get to do that every day. I don't have to wait 20 years for my daughter to get married to enjoy it. I'm like, yeah, I get to be who I really want to be every day if I'm clear on what that is.
That is so beautifully put, because when you step into that and knowing that that's where you want to go, it makes it so much easier all the way along the way. And yes, when you do start to see transformation within your body in whatever fashion, in a positive direction, that builds your confidence. That gives you more courage. It changes your self-image. It changes your voice. It changes how you show up. It changes your energy. And that then changes how people then respond to you as well. And we're all energetic beings. And opening up and sharing your bigger version of yourself in a smaller physical body, you are now living your best life because you were able to step into it and come out of your shell from where you were hiding from behind previously in 2011.
Yeah.
So gratitude is a huge component to a process, because stepping into gratitude every morning, just thinking of 3 things or 5 things that you're grateful for, is a shift in mindset. It shifts your energy and it sets your intention for the day. So when you step into just thinking, I'm thankful for the pillow under my head. I'm thankful for the breath that I'm breathing right now. I get to live another day. I'm thankful for the rain that is coming down today. You know, some people wake up in the morning and if it's a gray, rainy day, they think, what a crappy day. Why would you give your power to the weather to determine what kind of day you're going to have? How about stepping into the rain is life. Without water, we perish. And I'm so grateful for this beautiful rain that's happening today. That's a complete shift in energy from negative to positive. And when you do that, others relate to you differently. And your day will show up differently. You will actually get more green lights on the way to work. It's true. I experience it all the time. You will actually hit the elevator at the right time where the doors open for you and you don't have to wait. Or better yet, take the stairs if it's only a couple flights. But
I'll add one there that you'll actually have the willpower to say no to those things that are going to tempt you to go away from your goals or what you want to accomplish
right.
that day, right? So
Yes.
to me, that's
Because
one
you
of
have the desire within.
right. You have the desire there because of gratitude. You have that willpower.
Absolutely. Is there anything else you'd like to finish off as we share today?
I enjoy being here and talking about this journey because, as I mentioned before, your health and fitness affects so many different areas of your life. And so it affects you as who you are as a person and who you can become. And it's something I think is overlooked. We tend to put other patches on it. We may have success in our career, or we may have an amazing family. So, oh, health and fitness is not important. But just imagine how much more you can have if you take that effort to change and make small changes. To me, there's nothing, nothing dramatic happens overnight, but just those small changes, just in your habits and your patterns, create a different level of energy and a different level of desire within you. And I've given my health and wellness journey has allowed me to make all the changes I've created in my life over the last 11 years, started with that decision that I needed to be in better shape and need to be healthier for my kids. And that created a whole new life for me. So I really appreciate you having me on to share that with others, and it's my hope that encourages them to take that first step. It's going to be a fun journey.
Absolutely. And thank you for sharing. And you're right. When you step into a wellness journey for yourself, it not only affects you and the quality of life that you will have, but it affects everyone else around you. Even by leading by example for your children, for your family members, for those that you interact with. Leading by example and they seeing the transformation, that impacts their life too. And that gives them the idea and the resources and the support to maybe step into a healthier change for themselves as well. And so we never know the far-reaching effects of the actions that we take ourselves personally and how it may affect someone else in our journey of life who we may even just have a passing conversation with. And we are all interconnected. And it's just so remarkable how far-reaching one step can take. So I thank you for sharing with us today, Colin. And I wish you all the best and continued success on your wellness journey. And so happy for you to be a part of my community. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi friends, Dr. Stacey here. Now I want to provide you with the opportunity to join me in my 5 pounds in 5 days challenge. The next one is right around the corner. Click the link, jump in, and that's where I will share with you how you can get your health on track. Sharing and understanding how the body functions on the inside, that's my vision, and my mission is to eliminate the diabetic epidemic globally. So getting your health on track is vital to you creating a life that you love. So join us in the 5 pounds in 5 days challenge. The link is right there. You'll see it. It's either above or below. And you will then have the opportunity to step into creating a healthier, more natural lifestyle as you begin to heal your health naturally. I'm Dr. Stacey, and I'll see you on the inside.